Thank you for 500 subscribers. Every one of you, you are just the best. I cannot thank you enough. I'm Kato and welcome to my Trials of Mana Remake review. This review will not show any of the post-game content, because this is the biggest spoiler for newcomers and experienced Mana players. I will mention the post-game, yeah, but I will not show any of it. The main goal in this review is to be as neutral as possible. Despite the fact that I'm a Mana series fan, I will judge the game as neutral as possible. Let us begin. Let us begin with the story. Your adventure begins with one of the 6 characters. And also 2 party characters, which you also can choose. Depending on what characters you are picking, certain dialogues are changed and the main enemy will change. You have 6 characters, each one with their own problems and struggles. But at the end, they all want the same, the Sword of Mana. So let us have a short look on every character and what they want to do. Duran, our sword fighter, is serving the Hero King of Volsena. On a night shift, the castle is getting attacked by the Crimson Wizard, a really skilled magician. Duran tries to fight him, but he's not strong enough. So he gets defeated, and after these events, he wants to find a way to become stronger. He's finding informations about the class change, and that is what he wants to do. Angela from the Altena Kingdom tries to learn magic, but for some reason she cannot learn it. After she gets summoned by her mother, she gets the not so nice information to getting sacrificed for using a spell to unlock the power of the Mana Stones. Angela got some powers channeled and could teleport out of the place to land in the Frostbite Fields. So she didn't really know what to do, so she needs to find a way to learn real magic and prove her mother that she can do something. Kevin is a half-beast man and he's the prince of the Ferolian Kingdom. His little pup friend Carl is always on his side. But after the Ferolian King got in touch with Gormand, a really creepy looking jester, Carl suddenly started to attack Kevin and Kevin was forced to use his inner strength, transforming into his inner wolf. Accidentally, and because he couldn't control this power, he killed Carl. After all these events, he overheard a conversation from his father and Gormand. Gormand's power let Carl attack Kevin, and because the Ferolian King has ordered Gormand to do so, this made Kevin really mad and he attacked his father. Of course, he was no match for the Ferolian King and he got kicked out of the palace. Charlotte is the next character. A cheerful girl and the granddaughter of the priest of Light. Heath, a pretty strong cleric, is more or less father figure to Charlotte. After the priest of Light has sensed some evil energy in the near of Yard, he sent Heath to check that up. Charlotte got that too and wanted to follow Heath. Hawkeye, a very charming thief of the Naval Thieves Guild, got another heist finished. After that he found out that the boss of the Thieves Guild, Flamecon, wants to invade Lorend, the Wind Kingdom. He thinks that Flamecon is acting weird since this lady Isabella has arrived. However, Flamecon has having a daughter and a son, Jessica and Eagle. Hawkeye is pretty near to both of them. Eagle thought the same thing, that Flamecon is acting weird, so they are trying to overhear some conversations. After they found out that Isabella is talking to a mysterious man, they tried to confront her, but Eagle got jinxed and attacked Hawkeye. So he needs to fight him. But in the end, Isabella killed him. Everyone thought it was Hawkeye, so he got imprisoned. Isabella blackmails Hawkeye that Jessica could die if he would say a thing about what happens, because Isabella gave Jessica a cursed necklace, the Choker of Death. So Hawkeye escaped and tries to find a way to lift the curse. And last but not least, we have Reese, the princess from the Lorend Kingdom and home of the Amazons. She tries to find her brother Elliot in the kingdom for his training sessions, but he was nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, 2 of the Naval Thieves have tricked Elliot and he lead them to the room where an important stone was hidden. This is basically the protection of the kingdom, but only people of the royal family can deactivate it with a key. So these ninja thief hybrids have tricked Elliot to lift the protection and the Naval Thieves Guild could attack Lorend. Lorend got invaded, Reese's father got killed and she needs to find guardians. So she left the kingdom and escaped. So what do they all have in common? They all need the guidance and advice from the Priest of Light in Wendell. Your first character will be the one chosen by the fairy, who also wants to see the Priest of Light. The Priest of Light will tell you about the Sword of Mana, which can form the world by its user, and only the chosen of the fairy can get that sword. However, everyone wants that sword because this would solve everyone's problems. And also the bad guys want that. But in order to get that sword, the group needs to travel to the Sanctuary of Mana. To reach that, the group needs to find all 8 mana elementals to open a portal to the Sanctuary of Mana. Alright, let's go away from this story for now and let's have a look at the gameplay. And I already can tell you, it is worth to play. I would separate normal gameplay and battle gameplay here. So let's have the normal gameplay for now. The original Trials of Mana got a co-op multiplayer. The remake does not have that. It is a pure single player game. But hell, it is so good! If you're not fighting, you run around in towns, talk to NPCs, get another information where to go and what to do. But this game has more to offer for you. This game is all about exploring the world. Look in every corner. Who knows what you might find? This game is rewarding you for exploring the world. So jump on platforms, look at every corner and maybe you get a good reward. This game is also having the cactus bag. If you remember Legend of Mana, a game I don't remember because Europe didn't got it, you will recognize this little guy here. The cactus will give you rewards every 5 times you found him. The more you find, the better the rewards will be. And I can tell you, it is worth it. Magic is of course an important thing too. Depending on how many mana elementals you got, the more magic you can learn. However, there are several differences on magic. Attack magic, support magic and healing magic. Healing magic is the only magic which can be used outside of the battle. Attack magic is self-explaining, I guess. All the magic which is damaging the enemy. Support magic is all the magic which is helping you in any way. These are buffs for your characters, debuffs for the enemies and elemental sabers. There is a difference between magic and moves. Moves are skills which are based on the abilities of the character. For example, Hawkeye's ranger class can learn trap-based skills. But these are no magic. By the way, classes. Let's talk about classes now. One of the main focus of this game are the classes. Every character is having a starter class. These starter classes can evolve into a light or a dark path. The second class can be achieved if you are level 18 or higher. If you change again to class 3, you can also choose between light and a dark path. This class is accessible with level 38 and a specific item. There's also class 4 existing, but this is post-game, so we will not talk about it. Depending on which class you're picking, the magic, skills and abilities will change. Alright, how about we talk about abilities? Abilities are like passive effects you can equip on your character. Depending on your playstyle, you choose your favorite abilities. There are character-specific abilities existing and share abilities, which can be used by every character. You can learn new abilities by using the new level up system and using so-called training points, which is giving you also passive effects like higher strength. Or you talk to specific people, so talking to everyone can reward you too. Try different abilities out and see what fits your playstyle. Now let us talk about the battle gameplay, because another big focus is the battle. The battles are similar to other action RPGs you may have already played. It is not even near to the original Trials of Mana game on the Super Nintendo. You can now dodge and jump, which makes the battle more, let's say, intense. You are also having a weak attack and a strong attack now. Try different combinations out. If you do one weak attack and a strong attack in a combination, you do a knockback attack. Depending on how far you come and which class you are unlocking more combos. This game is having a high focus on the classes, so they are also having so-called class strikes. For these class strikes you don't need MP. You need to fill your class strike gauge, which is mostly happening during the fights. There are a lot of class strikes and every class is having a different class strike. So trying out other classes can be really interesting. Magic and moves are also an important point here. Most of the enemies are having elemental resistances and weaknesses. Mostly the game is telling you if your attack is now effective or not. This game is also having a day and night circle. And depending which day you are having, some magic is weaker and stronger. So watch at the day before you use magic. The battle gameplay just feels as awesome as it sounds and looks. It really is addicting and it is super fun to try out several combinations in classes, abilities and attacks. Alright, let's talk about the graphics now. And it really is a looker. I can only tell now how it is on the PlayStation 4, but it really looks awesome there. I know it is not some high-end graphics, but that is totally fine, because this graphic style is really fitting for the Mana series. Yeah, I need to admit some of the cutscenes don't look that good and sometimes a bit stiff in some points, but still it is a huge improvement compared to the cutscenes of the Secret of Mana remake. You can say what you want, this game gives you the feeling of the original, but in a modern way. And that's how a remake should be. If you look at the environment and see so many little details, you really will fall in love with that. So one thing before we start talking about the soundtrack. If you are not a fan of a modern soundtrack, you still can switch between the modern and the original synthesized soundtrack. And this is the topic. The modern soundtrack is very fitting. It always hits you in the feels in a good way if you hear the epic songs from that game in a modern style. However, the modern soundtrack feels like that they mix the synthesized versions with some orchestra, and this is a brilliant idea and very fitting. You will not get enough from the soundtrack because it is just so good. However, this is more like an opinion thing, so maybe you don't like it but others do. But that's totally okay. So the last thing on my list here is the difficulty. You can choose between very easy, easy, normal and hard. So if you are an experienced action RPG player, you will never have any problems with the hard mode. I can tell you. The hard mode is way too easy and you can really breeze through it if you are really good in action RPGs. It could be a challenge if you are not so familiar with action RPGs, but this game is relatively easy to learn. The only struggle could be to use the right combos at the right time, but that depends on you. For me personally, it was way too easy and I had no real struggle at all. Some bosses were a bit stronger, yeah, but even that can be handled relatively easy if you memorize their attack patterns. So, my final judgment of the game. Let's do some ratings here for the end of the review. Overall, this game is fantastic. The music is awesome, the graphics are fitting, and the gameplay is addicting. It really is a fantastic remake and deserves much more attention. If you really look for a good action RPG, you are on the right spot. Yes, not everything is perfect, so I will tell some things which is missing or I don't like. First of all, the multiplayer is gone. To remove something from a game what has been originally in is never a good idea. Next is that the game was way too easy. The only thing to solve that is to higher the hard difficulty or add a super hard difficulty mode. A compendium is missing too. A compendium for enemies, weapons, armors and so on. That would be pretty helpful in some situations. This compendium could, for example, tell you which enemy is dropping which item and so on. Sometimes the cutscenes feels off. Yeah, as I mentioned before, the cutscenes are not the best and that's something which bugs me a bit. It's not a big deal overall, but it's mentionable. The AI is not really smart, no matter how you set them up. But honestly, which AI is really smart? The last thing I can tell is the voice acting. The English voice acting is not really good, but the Japanese voice acting is fantastic. It's awesome. Really good character impressions. I like that. But to be honest, I still enjoy every second of the game. And I will do the same in the future or in future playthroughs. Because I cannot stop playing this game. It is doing so many things the right way, and other developers should maybe take an example out of that. If I should give that game a rating, I would say 8.5 out of 10 rebytes. A must-have for every JRPG fan and really an awesome single-player experience. Now you are asked, what do you think about the Trials of Mana remake? Is it good? Is it bad? Did you enjoy it? Are you still not sure if you should buy it? Post it in the comments below. This was everything from me. I'm Kaiser from the RPG Guild, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye and see you soon!